Hey y'all, what's up? This is AWTM and we are back with another Sistas episode recap. This is going to be season 7, episode 16. It's entitled Close to You. Now, what I didn't bring up on the last recap is that Tamara has been having this fling with Gary and they've been going back and forth. Now she's gotten to the point to where she thinks he's addicted to her and now she wants money. And if she doesn't get money, she says she's not going to be with him. So she told him to stop texting her phone or leave her alone before she tells Hayden. And he was like, tell him. And she was like, oh, I can show him better than I can tell him. So she has a video of her and Gary together. And Gary looked like he was shocked. He didn't know what to do. So I'm kind of fearful for Tamara because we know Gary is unhinged and he has a couple of loose screws. So there's no telling what he will do. But she is all about her paper and she now wants to be paid for her services. So we will see what ends up happening with that. Now, the episode's description, it says, Danny struggles to understand the dynamic between Tiffany and Tony. Sabrina attempts to plan a baby shower for Karen. And Jordan finds himself in harm's way. So as we start the episode off, Fatima is calling Andy and they're actually giggling and laughing about Hayden. He seems upset about the case with Miss Marie. Something might have happened. And also about Andy getting that information and one-upping him. So they're having giggles and laughs over that. Now, Andy arrives to meet the detective, and it's at a hotel. He quickly pulls her into the room, and she's kind of scared and upset. She acts kind of shocked, but he says he has to do this to protect his key witness. And when his key witness comes out, lo and behold, it's actually Penelope. She's still around, but she explains that Gary did something to make her lose her baby. Now, Penelope was pretty far along when this all happened, and that's very traumatic, and she is enraged at Gary. She wants to get him back by any means, and she wants to witness and testify to his wrongdoing so he can go to jail for a very long time. Now, Andy immediately is like, we have to call Jordan and tell him. And Penelope was like, no one can know. And the detective also told her no one can know. So Andy has already had some problems with Jordan with not telling him certain information. So we'll see how this plays out in the future. Now, Pam arrives at Sabrina's house to help her plan a baby shower. She criticizes Sabrina's cake choice and was like, I have something in mind. Maurice arrives and they are actually twinning. They're dressed almost just alike. So she talks to Maurice and they're kind of going back and forth, and she asked him to be a brand ambassador for her hairline. And I think Maurice is going to do it. I think that would be a good thing for him to do because, you know, he was doing the OnlyFans and he has a large social media presence now. So it looks like Pam is going to have her very first brand ambassador. Now, Zach goes to the gym and he sees Aaron. So he approaches him to talk things out, and they kind of end up getting cool and agreeing to be civil to one another since they are each one of the twins' fathers, which is still really crazy to me, but it is what it is. Now, at the salon, Trey rose up on Pam. Now, we know they did go on a date. Pam said the date was great. She said it was all that. But he does start to discuss some business ideas with her because she told him about her business and what she was trying to do. So he did have some ideas about that. So we will see how this relationship develops between Trey and Pam. It seems like they really like each other, even though he tried to talk to Karen first. At the law firm, Fatima teases Hayden because of the case, and he tells her he'll have Miss Marie wrapped around his finger, not knowing that she was right behind him. Andy arrives, and Miss Marie lets them all have it because she felt like she was being painted out to be this horrible person in court. So she lets them all have it and lets them know that nothing like this better happen again, or she will take her case and her big money somewhere else and seek other counsel. Now, Rich arrives at Sabrina's home and they start making out very hot and heavy right away. He pulled something from the couch, was just like a baby shoe, and it was one of the items that she had earlier in trying to plan Karen's baby shower, but it kind of, made him a little leery. So he asked Sabrina, are you still taking your birth control? And Sabrina is immediately offended and everything cools down quick. She's like, I don't need you to do this and I don't need your permission. So why are you doing this? And immediately ask him to leave. And so he ended up leaving and she was upset. Now Sabrina is taking on this new role of I'm not going to take any stuff from anyone. Before she was kind of a doormat. So I'm liking this part of Sabrina. Now Maurice arrives at home and Grayson is there cooking and cleaning like a not so desperate housewife. Maurice gets upset about how he prepared his oxtails, which he baked them instead of cooking them in a slow cooker. He also organized Maurice's closet and he had a fit. He was like, it was organized chaos. Now, Maurice just blows up and he's upset that Grayson is in his personal space like this, and he tells him he needs some space. So Grayson was upset and he left. As soon as he left, Maurice kind of regretted that decision. Later on that night, he goes to the bar to talk to his bartender friend, and he sees that he's kind of in the wrong, and maybe he's just scared of having somebody around him that will love him properly. So he is going to have to apologize to Grayson and get back in his good graces. Now, Hayden goes to pay Miss Marie a visit. It seems like it's at a hotel or it might be her home. He wanted to apologize for messing up things in court that day. But Miss Marie had other plans. She put the moves on Hayden and he was accepting of it. Now, I believe Hayden and Tamara have so much more in common than they know because they are all both about money and power. So he sees money bills when he looks at Miss Marie. And Tamara seen money bills when she looked at Gary and Hayden. So they are more alike than they actually know. And of course, Hayden went ahead and went through with anything Miss Marie wanted to do because he wants that paper. I can't wait to see how this affects the case going forward, knowing that Andy is co-counsel. Will she start being more nice to Hayden and want him to take over the case? We'll see on the up-and-coming episode. Now, back at their home, Zach and Fatima are interviewing for nannies for Michael to help out around the house because Fatima's in law school and Zach has a business as well, so they're very busy. So they did interview a few nannies and they finally found one that they liked. Now, I don't know about this lady. It seems like it's something up with her, but we'll see on the future episodes. But now they have a nanny, so they have some help. Danny and Tony arrived back at her place after they've been on a date. Now, Tony's ex-wife did agree to watch the children so they could go on that date. And Tony explains that she's staying with his mom to watch the kids. Danny is immediately offended. She's like, that's too close for comfort. Why is she still staying with your mother? What's going on? Now, she already walked in on them at Tony's office and said that she was his wife, and Tony had to correct her and say she was his ex-wife. So I don't know if she's trying to get back with him or what's going on, but Tony assures Danny that he only wants to be with her and she's the only one for him. And then he did something to make her feel good. Back at Jordan's place, him and Ethan are kind of having drinks, and Jordan gets a phone call. Once he steps away for the phone call, Ethan has something that he took out of his pocket to put in Jordan's drink. So Jordan comes back being oblivious to what's happening or what's going on. He drinks the drink and he immediately starts to feel woozy. So much so that he kind of leans over and then he collapses. Ethan then continues to go ahead and drag him out of the room. So I don't know what that was about and why he drugged him. I don't know if they're trying to set him up. I know Gary does not want him to be mayor. I know he's trying to ruin his life because he is with Andy, because Gary is so obsessed with Andy. It's crazy. But that's pretty much what happened on this episode. I'm looking forward to see what happens at Karen's baby shower. I'm also looking forward to how this whole situation plays out between Tony and Danny and his ex-wife. Also, I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen with Miss Marie and Hayden. So get in the comments and let me know what you think. Please remember to like, share, subscribe. I appreciate each and every one of you. This has been AWTM, and I will see you next time.